Okay guys, so we are in the all-new CX-8. I'm joined by Adrian of Wapcar as well as Aswan from Carlis. They are seated at the back. Okay, Aswan is right at the back there experiencing the third row.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Aswan is a decently sized guy and he's feeling very comfortable at the back, though I'm not so sure if he wants to stay there after we tackle some trunk roads. So the car that I'm driving, this particular unit that I'm driving, this is the 2.5 two-wheel drive mid-spec plus. So it is the 6-seater model with the center aisle. All right, there is of course the 2.0 lower spec model with 7 seats, and there's 2.5 with 7 seats, as well as the an even higher spec model with 6 seats but a center console. While we're waiting for the convoy to take off, I'm just going to show you my two friends at the back. Adrian here is having a very comfortable time in the captain's seat, and Aswan,
yeah, it's actually like quite comfortable.
pretty good. So we'll get your testimony after I hand over the car in the next driver change. So initial impressions rolling off, this feels barely any different from a CX-5. It's smooth, it's refined, ride quality is pretty good, very quiet overall. One thing, the recent generation Mazda cars, they have really worked very hard to quieten the cars, because the first gen Skyactiv cars, a lot of people say they are very noisy and all that. So Mazda took that complaint to heart, and they have set out to make all their recent cars significantly quieter than the ones that came before. So right now here in the CX-8, I'm barely getting any powertrain noise. I'm barely getting any road noise. Right now we are doing below about what, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, varying between them. There is only the slightest hint of tire noise, and that's it. The powertrain is barely making much sound at all. So we just drove over some undulations. Yeah, chassis seem to have absorbed it pretty alright. You guys okay back there?
Alright.
No complaints from the rear passengers. So we are going on a slightly uphill stretch, right? Maybe a slight incline. The transmission had to downshift by a ratio to keep the engine in the power band, but it's still a relatively smooth operation. So the 2.5 liter engine here, this is the lower powered of the two engines offered with the CX-8, and thus far I don't find this engine in any way inadequate, but of course you do need to call upon a few extra revs if you want if you want a bit more urgent acceleration. But so you see right now, I just kicked down the transmission a bit. The revs jumped to about 3,000, 4,000 RPM, but it's still a smooth revving powertrain, just as what we have known of Mazda's Skyactiv engines. So while the light is red, let me just show you at the back. Adrian certainly has no problems whipping out his laptop and making me look lazy. Okay, so I guess it's all very, very calm and comfy back there, huh? Yep, so from standstill earlier, we brought the CX-5 back up to about 80-90 kilometers per hour. It was very smooth. I mean, it was not flat out acceleration, but it was smooth progress, very refined, and basically the kind of performance that makes for pleasant day-to-day usage. Although I expect that the diesel model with its superior torque would certainly make for a more urgent performance. So we are picking up speed. Can't really accuse this 2.5 NA for lacking any grunt. For an NA, right, it has a surprisingly muscular mid-range. Of course, it can't match up to a turbocharged engine, but still, it feels like it has just enough muscle to push this car along. Far from exciting, but definitely good enough for the job. Suspension pliancy genuinely is excellent. I've driven over a number of potholes, you know, uneven patches of road, joint strips where different patches join. It seems to soak up everything pretty well. Aswan doesn't seem to be complaining from the back, so I assume it's all good behind there.
Yep, it's just like okay, keep it within the family. It's like a Mazda 2.
Okay, let's move to the right lane. Move to the right lane.
Feels just like a Mazda 2 from the back, he says. Basically, thus far, the flow of this media drive has just taken us from traffic light to traffic light to traffic light to traffic light. So we have thus far not really explored the true dynamic potential of the CX-8, and I suspect we won't be able to do so in the context of this event. But then again, it's not that we have not learned anything. In fact, I think that the short duration of this drive shows that the CX-8 here is a pleasant day-to-day commuter, because one, it is a properly spacious full-size 7-seater SUV inside, but it doesn't feel, in the midst of congested traffic, it doesn't feel bulky to drive like, say, an Alphard or Wellfire, that it feels really big and cumbersome. This, in terms of driving feeling, sensation and overall visibility, it just feels like a slightly bigger CX-5, and that's it. Okay, and of course it really helps that the suspension feels really comfortable. The powertrain the engine and drivetrain really feels well calibrated, gives smooth, relaxed performance, but just enough grunt to get you moving without you feeling underpowered. So at least going from traffic light to traffic light, the acceleration does not feel like it is a chore. So you see, right now just cleared that last traffic light. Traffic is slow moving. We are ambling along at 50 kilometers per hour, and the engine is just ticking over nicely, not making a fuss. But of course, the moment that I flexed my foot just a little bit, the transmission was just ready to step down and give you that extra bit of torque with a lower ratio. So we are approaching our driver change point, and it's time for me to hand the wheel to either Adrian or Aswan, whoever is it that wants to take. From the driver's seat, in this limited conditions, I can't give you a full evaluation of the CX-8's dynamic talents, but as an urban 7-seater commuter, it's pleasant. It is pleasant. It is pleasant. It is very usable. Okay. So coming, I think I've shown you in my previous videos, but worth giving you a third person's perspective. Coming into the third row actually is a relatively simple affair. Okay. The opening of the door is, and also the folding of the seat means that basically, right, you can effectively walk yourself into this third row. And well, I think I've shown you about the availability of room back here. Adrian, you said the aircon full blast. Well, Adrian has been very kind to give a generous dosage of aircon from the front, but Aswan has lowered the fan speed. So right here, right now, okay, it's a bit of a hot sunny day, but so it's not feeling really warm per se at the back here, but certainly the air here is a bit stationary. Feels like it could do with a bit more ventilation. And if you are someone like me, right, whom I always prefer to set low blower speeds because I don't like the noise of fast blowers, right, then the rear passengers will be kind of screaming for air a little bit. But right now, Adrian, what's the fan speed that you said there? One fan speed in the front, 3 fan speed in the middle, Actually, I'm getting some air here, so it's really not too bad. But that being said, I think for a proper 7-seater SUV, I would still appreciate air blowing directly at me. But weirdly, somehow it actually works. So I guess Mazda got the airflow pretty well thought out. But there's also, this is the version without the center console here that impedes the flow from the middle blowers. Okay, so just now Adrian just went over a patch of road and got a bit of a bouncing action here, right here at the back, but it felt well damped. Certainly, of course, you know, I feel it a bit more acutely now that I'm sitting on top of the rear wheel, but it is still relatively plush and compliant. And as you can see here, it is terrifically spacious at the back. Terrifically spacious. Spacious, comfortable. Overall, right, I think Mazda has done a fantastic job packaging this 7-seater SUV, no question. Okay guys, so right now we are doing highway speeds with Adrian behind the wheel. So Adrian, how's it feeling? How does it feel?
The car is very planted.
Yep.
The powertrain is very smooth.
Yep.
Although I wish I'm in the turbo or the diesel.
Yep.
But other than that, it's a very refined car.
Yep. So if let's say like if I were to ask you to drive this from KL to Penang, would it be much of a hassle to you?
None at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Thank you for your opinion, bro. So right now I'm in the middle row, in the captain's chair. So we've got a foldable armrest here, and this seat is positioned close enough to the door that I can just sit nicely and rest my arms like this. I've also got this middle row seat pushed all the way back because there's nobody sitting at the back anymore, and very, very comfortable. I feel like a boss. In fact, if I feel like it, right, I think I can. Okay guys, so just a bit of extra info. Just now we mentioned that I mentioned about, you know, the rear of the CX-8 having not enough aircon vents, all right, to blow to the passenger. Actually, Mazda did think about that, and they actually put these additional vents here to channel cool air out from under the middle row seat. So at least, you know, you get some air coming out, circulating, moving at the back of the cabin. Okay guys, so that's it. We're done with the CX-8, and so overall, looks like a pretty promising product, a good all-round package from Mazda, blending all the familiar qualities that we know from the CX-5 in particular, into just a larger, more usable, but just as friendly package. So it is no more difficult a car to drive than the CX-5, but significantly more practical with more space for both people as well as for luggages. So I think Burma is targeting to sell this at about 15 to 20% more than the CX-5, which I think is an absolutely fair premium. Overall, great value for money product.